Welcome to God's Powerful Son, your GPS, Directions to Eternity, with references from the Life Application Study Bible NIV. Here's your host, David Brower, a true child of God.
Thanks, Alan. This is David Brower, reminding you that you don't need to take notes on this podcast, as the complete transcript is in the Our Blog section at gps2eternity.com. In this edition of Your GPS to Eternity, we are talking about the story of Abraham and his son Isaac, the story of profound faith and obedience to God. When Abraham was 99 years old, God promised him and his wife Rebekah, then 89, a son. A year later, God's promise came true when 90-year-old Rebekah bore their son, Isaac. When Isaac grew to be a young boy, God tested Abraham by telling him to take his son and offer him as a burnt sacrifice. Though filled with sadness and grief, Abraham obeyed God's words without hesitation and took Isaac to the mountain. Abraham had complete faith that God would provide a way out and that he would not lose his son. At the moment that Abraham tied up Isaac, the angel of the Lord stopped him and said, "Do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything to him." Here's how the story of Abraham and Isaac reads in Genesis 22, 1 through 18. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham, here I am," he replied. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Early the next morning, Abraham got up and loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkey, while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife as the 2 of them went on together. Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, "Father?" "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The fire and wood are here," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the 2 of them went on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar, on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Here I am," he replied. "Do not lay a hand on the boy," he said. "Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham looked up, and there in a thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, "The Lord will provide." And to this day it is said, "On the mountain of the Lord it will be provided." The angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, "I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me." Until next time, this is David Brower asking you to remember that God's powerful Son is your GPS, providing you with directions to eternity.
You've been listening to God's Powerful Son, your GPS, Directions to Eternity. New podcasts are available Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern. Podcast transcripts are available at gps2eternity.com. That's GPS, the number 2, eternity.com. just click on our blog. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you and your family.